To be precise, when working with VTest or Jest, you can choose a testing environment in which your test code will be executed. You could, for example, choose Node.js, and indeed that is the default for both Jest and VTest. Now, if you stick to that default, as we did for this entire course, then you have access to all the Node.js APIs and modules, like the file system module, inside of your test files, so inside of your testing code and inside of the code that's executed by your testing code. But you can't interact with the browser or browser-specific APIs. You can't call the fetch function or the document object. You have to bring your own mock objects instead if you want to do that. Now, as mentioned, bringing your own mock objects is not always an option though. That's why VTest and Jest also support another environment which is called JS-DOM. And that's in the end a virtual DOM environment that is created by the test runner behind the scenes. It's still not using the actual browser, but it's emulating that your code runs in a browser. VTest also provides another alternative called HappyDOM, and both JS-DOM and HappyDOM are simply environments in which your tests can run that give your test code and the code executed by it access to all these DOM and all these browser APIs, even though there technically is no browser in which your tests run, but it's emulated virtually. That's what's happening here, and therefore switching to JS-DOM or HappyDOM in VTest's case is perfect for testing front-end code and projects. And that is therefore what we can do here. And with VTest, switching is super simple. All you have to do is you have to go to your test script where you execute VTest, and then you can add another flag, -- environment, and set this to JS-DOM or HappyDOM. And I'll use HappyDOM here, which is VTest specifically, but you could use either of the two. Now for Jest, you can also switch to a different environment. You can, for example, add this comment in a testing file to switch to JS-DOM for this file only, so that the tests in that file would be executed with JS-DOM. And VTest also supports a similar syntax, but it is best if you check out the official docs for all the details, of course. So this here is Jest. And in VTest's case, you also have a broad variety of settings which you can set. For example, a broad variety of flags which you can add after the VTest command. And here you, for example, see the environment flag which I just used. So you can switch away from the default, which is Node for both Jest and VTest, and you can switch to a DOM supporting alternative. And if you do that, and you then run your tests again, they still might fail, but now they're not failing because the document wouldn't exist. Instead, here it now fails because it actually wasn't able to get hold of error container element. So actually, this line of code didn't yield anything, but it's not the problem that document wouldn't exist. So that's a major step forward. And now that we learned about these different environments, we can next focus on making sure that we have the actual page that we have for this project available when our tests run as well.